Small-cap tech has taken a serious hit since midsummer. Healthcare stocks are surging. The XLV Healthcare ETF is up more than 9% since early July, hitting a fresh all-time high today. The sector is led by Eli Lilly, whose weight loss drug dominance has fueled an almost 65% gain in 2024. But are there other names ready to break out? Let's go off the charts for Chris to find out. Chris?
Yeah, well, I think this is a sector that's been on the come here for some time, where the improvement is not 2 or 3 or 5 days old. It's been happening quietly under the surface for 2 or 3 months. We've seen the percentage of healthcare stocks in uptrends really start to improve. And if you look globally, what really led this move, the European healthcare names went first. The Japanese healthcare names have been leadership. So we're on guard, or we're watching for continued improvement here. And I would highlight a couple names in particular. Bristol Myers, which has been a dog for 3 years, finally starting to turn here. You had a big gap, I think, on July 29th. You came back, you tested it, you held the 50-day about to break up through the 200-day on Bristol for the first time in several years. I'd encourage people to play that one on any pullback. J&J is another here, which frankly is probably further ahead in its turn. It is short-term overbought, but I would be a buyer of pullbacks there. And then if you're looking for a big base and a breakout to an all-time high, ELV, Elevance in the HMO space, just a great chart. UNH has broken out here as well. But this is an improving sector. It has not gotten enough attention. And if you look at the flow work, there has been an exodus of flows away from healthcare over the last couple of years. So I think it's timely. I think there's a catalyst here, and the stocks are on the come.
Elevance.
Elevance, yes, one I own. Where I expected you to go was to make fun of me for having the
for Pfizer.
XLV. Well, that you could make fun of me relentlessly.
So many places.
Yeah, so many places. The XLV, which is the something in my.
Yeah, I could go after that too, but
right.
We'll go with the stocks.
It's the healthcare, the H in the helm. No, I mean there were some others, AbbVie in there as well. Totally. So that's been a great place to be, and I think there's still more room to run. I think that it was somewhat of a laggard until the last 6 weeks or so, and then sort of came back to life. So I'm sticking with this. I think there's still more room, even though you always say in a election year, it's very easy for both sides to, use the healthcare as a punching bag. But I think there's a lot of value here.
Amgen is interesting, probably around all-time highs. But if you can back out Lilly and UNH and J&J to a certain extent, the top 3 holdings, then there's a bevy of stocks that actually, Merck, for example, is significantly off its prior all-time high. I think it traded down to 109. I think it's currently trading 116 or so. That probably has room. And then a name we used to talk about in sort of the early days of fast money, rarely talk about now, but Danaher, for example, is a really interesting company. I think that's the 8th largest holding in this ETF.
It's interesting. As the market rebounded off those August 5th lows, the S&P was about to make, new highs just last week. There was defensive stocks or groups that were acting really well. We talked about staples. We talked about utilities. We talked about telcos. Obviously, you could throw healthcare in there. And that was kind of a curious sort of situation here. And here they are now. And people are crowding into them as the market's selling off. And to me, it probably seems like the exact wrong time to be doing that, because the fundamentals in all of those groups, maybe they're fine, but they're not great.
So we always do, or we always do, but ex-NVIDIA, ex-Lilly, does that index look just as good?
Well, of course not, right? Lilly has been...
Right, but does it still look like it's
going forward, though?
When we talk about these sectors, we always look at them equally weighted, because you don't get the accurate portrayal of the sector. And what I think is important is the breadth of the sector has started to improve. What was a sector entirely dominated by Lilly for the last 2 years, that is starting to evolve. Interestingly, Lilly did not get hit today. Right, we're talking about all this weakness in momentum stocks. Maybe that one is not as crowded on the long side as some of the tech stuff that it's been lumped in with.
And the chart looks good on Lilly.
Still fine, yeah.
Okay.